we really value your patience. It's 3:03. I think we're going to go ahead and get started. People can enter and I'll be watching. Again, welcome to APS Stamp Chats. My name is Heidi, and I thank all the APS members for joining us, and particularly for your membership. Your dollars are at work, whether it be through these chats or on C3A or in all of the services that we have available and still available. And yesterday, thanks so much to Gary Lowe for mentioning the translation services. That picked up some traction yesterday, and it was nice to read how many of our members actually use the translation service. We have today our directors from the American Philatelic Society here for you to ask your questions. They'll also start out with a little bit about what's going on behind the scenes during this unique time. And if you have any questions, we will wait till, I believe we're going to wait until all directors have spoken and then ask our questions. So if you want to just jot it down in the chat box so you don't forget, that's not a problem. That can be your little bulletin board for me. And without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and start with Wendy Missouri. She is Director of Sales. So she's the gal who's behind Stamp Store and Circuit Sales, etc. Wendy, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can. Thank you. Welcome.
Yeah, I am going to share my screen. So
muted.
Let me know if you can see it.
We can.
You can see it?
Unmuted.
We got you.
Okay, so you're seeing it, which it just looks strange to me, but I will get past that. All right, but as Heidi said, my name is Wendy Missouri. I am the director of the APS sales unit, where we offer buying and selling online and through the mail. If you're not familiar with circuit mail sales or the online stamp store, I invite you to check it out, how we can help you find items to add to your collection or sell your duplicates. If any of you are dealers, this might be a particularly good time to check it out. With shows being canceled, you may want to consider submitting some material to our online stamp store, where we do all the work for you. So there is a link here at the bottom of the page, stamps.org/buy and sell, and that'll get you into the stamp store area. Or the selling area to give you advice on how to get started on buying and selling. For those who currently use our sales services, I wanted to give you a quick update how the closure is impacting our sales unit. And we have been sending out some e-blast messages on those updates, but we'll go over them here quick. First, I did want to let everybody know that our sales unit is working remotely. We are doing most of our daily tasks from home. So you will be seeing payments being processed, refunds processed, circuits are being checked in, stamp store items are being added to the site every day. So we continue to work hard for the members, even though we're all safely at home. So here we're going to go over circuit sales, how it's impacting that. As you can see, no new circuits are obviously being sent at this time. For those that are currently out in circulation, we are accepting return circuits and payments. So we encourage our members to process the circuits as normal by sending in the report sheets and mailing on to the next person when you can safely get to the United States Postal Service, because we're not asking anybody to make any special trips to the post office. We want everybody to stay safe. So when you can safely get to the post office, you can move the circuits on. There's no rush. Obviously, with the situation, we realize there will be delays. So all the circuit late fines are being waived until June 1st. As for our sellers, we are now accepting new books. Initially, we asked that you not send them in because we weren't accepting them at the time, but now since we are processing remotely, we're encouraging everybody to go ahead and send the books in that they've been working on. Please mail them to the building at the 100 Match Factory Place address, of course, and no, we're not accepting drops-offs. And what that means is I confused everybody on the one e-blast I sent out. We are not accepting people to stop by the building and just drop off. Of course, we're not open. We have a few staff that are there, but we're not open to the public. Also for sellers, the checks are delayed at this point until we reopen, but they will be our first priority when we get back into the building. Of course, we are going to answer questions afterwards, but my contact information is on the screen for anybody that has comments or concerns with the circuit sales. They could feel free to reach out to me at wendy@stamps.org. For the stamp store, it is open for business. We are accepting orders and payments are being processed. However, you should expect delays on the shipment. With limited access to the building, we are beginning to mail some of the orders, but we're probably about 14 to 20 days behind at this point. So there is definitely a delay. And we want to let everybody know that our refund policy stands. We have a 30-day money-back guarantee that begins the day the items are shipped to you. So just know that you will have 30 days to initiate a return after the order's been shipped. For sellers, we are accepting new submissions. We are processing from home at this point, so we reduced the backlog of the items that we have to post. So we're encouraging stamp store sellers to go ahead and send in some new submissions. There might be a few slight delays in posting, but we expect to have them up and available as quickly as possible. We certainly appreciate everybody's patience and support during this challenging time. And one other thing I wanted to point out is that if you are a circuit or stamp store seller, we do have a seller access area that you can check out on the website that will give you some basic details about your items that you're selling. So if you haven't used this before, how to get to this point is you log in on at stamps.org, you log in the upper right-hand corner. Once you're logged in, you can go to the My APS area. From there, there's blue tabs across the top of the screen, as you can see here. And for stamp store items that you sell, they would be under the My Stamps tab. For circuit book items that you sell, they would be under the My Circuit Book tab, which you can see a few tabs over from this current one I have open. But as you can see on this screen I have open, this particular account sells some stamps and it tells me what I have currently available for sale on Stamp Store, what I've sold so far, just some basic general information. But by clicking on the View Edit My Stamps, there's a whole drill down that sellers can actually see some detail about their items and stuff. That's all I have for now. So back to you, Heidi.
Thank you, Wendy. That was great coverage. Exactly. Nice synopsis. A lot of people do want to know that, especially from comments I've seen on social media. And again, Stamp Store is open. It's got over 300,000 pieces of beautiful revenue stamps, postal ephemera, et cetera, et cetera. So the take-home message is that we are up and running. Thanks, Wendy. Ken Martin, Chief Membership Officer. How about you give us a little update on what's going on membership? We've got this great deal, 25 under 30. Can't wait to hear it from you.
I think
Ken,
Wendy has to stop sharing her screen and let Ken.
Okay. Wendy, did you hear that, hon? There you go. Oh, almost.
I can't figure out how I stop sharing.
I think if you just press screen, share screen or screen.
I sort of, when it left me take over, I kind of lost that.
That's okay. Let me see what happens.
So I can't find that button anymore. Stop screen sharing. How's that?
Fabulous.
It just took me a moment. Sorry about that, everybody.
We all had a chance to breathe or have a little freak out, whichever type of personality you are.
There you go. Ken,
I always talk too much. There you go.
And
Okay.
Ken Martin, Chief Membership Officer. Thank you. Thanks, Wendy.
Okay, and I just tried making presenter, so screen share. So hopefully you're seeing our 2020 challenge graphic right now.
We are seeing, Ken, you're in the money.
Okay, for 2020, we'd like to recruit 2,020 new members. We're not on pace at this point in time, but we need everybody's help to do that. If we'd only need every 10th APS member to recruit one member, and we would easily do this. We'd do more than that. So, and to encourage, in addition to the $5 that we've always offered for any member who recruits another member, we're offering 3 life memberships as well. One for one of the new members, one for an individual recruiter, and one for a chapter or a dealer who recruits. The chapters and the dealers maybe have a little bit of a built-in advantage. That's why we wanted to make sure that one of them is an individual who does that. To help you with the 2020 challenge, we also recently introduced the $25 under 30. This is a new digital-only membership, 12 months for anybody under age 30. They have all the benefits of a regular APS membership, except for they don't receive the hard copy of the magazine. They can continue at the $25 rate until they turn age 30. So I signed one up yesterday who was 17 years old. Hopefully we'll have him 12, 13 years at the $25 rate, and then hopefully he'll go up to the normal $45 rate for those 30 and above. Good news, last year we dropped at the end of April 2,336 members for non-payment of dues. We're 7 days away or 10 days away from that, and right now we're at 2,312 who are unpaid. So not much, but it's slightly better. Also, I can report that our reinstatements, individuals who've been members in previous years but dropped for whatever reason, maybe they had temporary financial hardship or health issue or whatever, we've gotten 210 of them back from January 1 through today. Last year at this time, we'd only gotten 154 reinstatements. So that's very positive as well. Applications, we are a little bit behind right now compared to last year. Not a lot, but a little bit. So again, we can use your help. Chapters can send in chapter membership lists, affiliate membership lists. We'll go through those, and anybody we find on there who's not in our database, we'll send them an invitation in your name, and if they join, we'll give you credit, the $5 plus credit in a list in the recognition issue next year for the number of members that you've joined. Shows, I think there was some discussion before the meeting officially started. Basically all the World Series shows through early June have been canceled at this point because of the coronavirus, COVID-19. I think the first one that has not yet been canceled, I've had conversations with Joe Crosby, the show organizer for OPEX, both the last 2 days, is OPEX the end of June. We are hopeful for Hartford, but for the Great American Stamp Show in late August or mid to late August in Hartford, it's probably too early for us to know for certain, but we're planning as if the show will go on and hoping that we'll be able to see many of you at the show, and the show will go on. I think I'll leave it at that, and after everybody else is done, I'd be glad to take questions.
Excellent, Ken. Yeah, because there are questions, and anybody who's been on social media has seen that great article about the millennials jumping in, and I think that there's a real a bounce in philately. So that bodes well for the hobby and for the membership. Dr. Kathy Brackbill. Kathy was on our Stamp Chat last week. For those of you who hadn't met Dr. Brackbill yet, she spoke to us about Classroom C3A, and we spoke a little bit about that on Friday's Stamp Chat when people were asking about beginning collecting. So another fabulous service of APS membership is our online education, of which there is no one better than Dr. Kathy Brackbill to fill us in on that.
Well, happy April 21st. I think this was supposed to have been Take Your Child to Work Day. And I'm thinking there's probably many parents who would like to send their child to school today. So those of you that did not see the C3A presentation that was done before, I did want to share that. So I thought that I would share two things, one about the learning system and about what's upcoming for summer seminar online. So to find the C3A learning system, you first go to the APS website. You look at the Learn tab, and when you click on it, you get a drop-down menu. And there are several things on the drop-down menu, but what you would then want to look at is the online learning piece. And when you click on the online learning piece, then it will take you to the welcome page for C3A. And C3A stands for Collecting and Connecting Central Academy. And on this page, please be aware that if you are a member of the APS, then what you need to do is log in to the website. Because if you join as the first time you go in and try to create an account on C3A, if you do not go through from the member side, then you won't get all the member benefits. So you do click on the login, and once you're logged in, you should be able to see My APS up there. It says you're logged in. Then you'll have a video if you would like to watch about creating a C3A account. The next thing you do to get onto this platform is to click on the C3A, and it will take you to the landing page. The very first time you get there, what you need to do is register to create an account. And there's either two things that you can click on. When you get to the registration page, it's really important that your first and last names are the same as in the APS member management system. And also that the email that you put in there is the same as the APS has on file for you. If there's any discrepancy on the first name, last name, or email, then the system doesn't know that you're a member, and you won't see all the benefits of membership on the system. The first time you get on, here's the landing platform. And when you get to the landing platform, and you go to My Courses, here with the My Courses tab, there will be automatically things that you will see as a member. And there's different colors on here. Like this has a light blue where the circle is. That means I started that one. This green check means I completed that 5-module course. There's an interesting file folder here that says purchased videos. If you purchase any videos from the e-commerce site, then those will automatically go into this folder. If you click on, all right, if you click on the catalog, right now you won't see anything. I have it set up so that anything that is added to the platform goes right to your My Courses or goes right to the videos and resources. Okay, my internet must have really slowed down today. When you get to the videos and resources side, the very first thing at the top says Young Stamp Collectors of America. You will not see that. That is strictly for our young collectors who are members of YSCA. But all the other videos that you see listed here are free for both members and non-members who have accounts to the system. And any of the activities that Kathleen Edwards and I have been writing about to do to promote stamp collecting will be found underneath Bridges activities for sharing. The last thing I wanted to talk about on the e-learning system is the e-commerce site, where you can now purchase either courses or videos that would stay onto the system, but they become yours. And there's about 15 items on here right now. The other thing that I wanted to share then would be Summer Seminar Online. And this is kind of an exciting project, since we did need to cancel the face-to-face piece of Summer Seminar. What we're planning to do is, during the month of June, it will be a members-only event, and there will be different live and recorded presentations. Some of the sessions will be 1 hour in length. Others might be multiple session courses. And there will be opportunities for interactive content. And the pricing will be for individual sessions, $10. For multiple session courses, they will be priced accordingly. For the sessions that APS staff offer that have to do with member services, those will be free. And here are some of the planned sessions. This is just hot off the presses. There are right now over 25 different sessions that have yet to be scheduled on specific days and specific times. So you can see that there's things about express company envelopes from Mexico, introduction of US hand stamps. Here's another page with some things on exhibiting, German inflation stamps, modern postal history, Poland, come take a ride on the Hindenburg, starting a forgery reference library, essays and proofs. And here's some things on the US Postal Service Office of Inspector General, and a future look at what could happen with mail delivery. And then one last page on alcohol and food products, which would be US tax-paid revenues, and also on manufactured tobacco products, another type of US tax-paid revenue. Another exhibiting course, fundamentals of postal history, and introducing the APRL new online philatelic union catalog. And I forgot there is one more page here. And where to buy and sell stamps, stress busting for stamp collectors, and tips and tricks when researching the online catalog. So lots of really neat and interesting topics that people will be able to register for. So watch the e-newsletter for registration information, and course descriptions will be posted at stamps.org summer seminar. And that's what I have.
That's a lot of information, Kathy. I started to rack up my own questions for when it's question time. That's the summer seminar looks fantastic. Right up Stamp Chat alley. Wow. It's just 24 hours of it. Awesome. Thank you. That was great. That was a wonderful primer refresher. Thank you so much, Dr. Brackbill. You had made mention of the library. What a great, graceful segue over to Scott Tiffany, Director of Information Sources and the librarian for the APRL. And it's National Library Month. So happy National Library Month to our very own Scott Tiffany, librarian with the most. Go ahead, take it away for us.
Thank you, Heidi. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's being safe and sound. And it's not the optimum way to sort of spend National Library Week, but I'm hoping everybody still feels connected to the library. And I want to show you a few things that we're doing in the library to sort of keep. So I'm going to share my screen. Can everyone see that? Give me a moment. So just to give you an idea of some of the things that we do still have available in the library, we are still taking requests. What we're doing as requests come into the library, we're documenting them. We're making note of the ones that come in. I still receive about 2 or 3 requests a day. Here are the 2 contacts that you can do for that. library@stamps.org, and that is my phone number, which rings here at home here, so I can answer those at home. In terms of any book items or people that have borrowed items from the library, much like Wendy, we're not asking people to do anything. You don't have to go to the post office and return those books. In talking with Ken Martin over the weekend, he mentioned that some books are being returned, and that's fine. We don't ask for anybody to make any sort of undue trip to the post office at this time. We will be contacting people if and when we're back around June 1st or so, we hope. And we'll contact people then when we're back in the building about materials that are still being borrowed from the library. In terms of any invoicing, again, like Wendy in Stamp Store and in circuit sales, we're not going to be sending out any overdue notices or fees regarding anything that's being borrowed at this time. We'll again sort of think that when we get back and sort of contact people when we get back. So those are the sort of services we have right now. In terms of opportunities that are out there, I mentioned that in an earlier stamp chat that we have opened up APL Digital, which is our digital collections database. We've opened that up to everybody, so members and non-members, until May 31st. And the instructions for that, if you go to the library webpage and you scroll down the right side of the page, you'll see our little logo for APL Digital. And there is information there about the username and the password you should use. There's also, you'll notice when you go to the site, it's the new site. So we have a new responsive platform that we've been working on for the database. And we're sort of letting people, we're going to roll that out later in the year, but we thought with this time, with everybody at home, that we'd sort of roll it out now so that people can sort of see it, see where the database is going in the future. Other things that are out there, this is something, because it's National Library Week, we sort of rolled this out. We started this yesterday. It's an Adopt the Book campaign. And so what we're planning to do, or what we'd like people to do, if you go to the Adopt a Book site, and I'll show you that a little later, what we're doing is if people could sort of maybe do a search of the online catalog, or think of a book that was your favorite book when you first started collecting, or a book you use all the time, or a resource that you consult all the time when you're collecting. And you can go to the Adopt a Book site, name that book, and then offer up a donation in sort of memory of that book. And what we will do is we will sort of put a nameplate in the book that mentions your name and says that you gave to the program. And also we'll be sending you, obviously, a letter of acknowledgement that you can use for tax purposes. There are different levels of donating on the site, and it's perfectly up to people. We do have some specific, I should say, donor sort of levels, if you will. But once you get to the donation page, you can certainly change the amount of your donation. But what we'd really like to is to people think about the books that sort of meant a lot to them when they were first collecting, and then sort of share us those stories about why this book means so much to you, why you want to offer this donation in sort of lieu of that book. And finally, as any good sort of staff person here, I should mention that we do have membership in the library as well as APS memberships. And this is a great time. We're sort of putting up a lot of really good free content in the library and in other places on the website. And now's a great time to sign up. It's only $18 to subscribe to the Philatelic Literature Review, which is our quarterly journal in the library. And you can always, as Ken mentioned earlier, become an APS member as well. Some further opportunities that are out there in terms of resources that you can consult through Heidi and Tom's efforts. We've had 3 stamp chats that deal with the library. I did one, I think, in the first week about the library and its services. We also talked a little bit in depth on APL Digital, and then Marion Mills joined myself for an Ask a Librarian session, and we'd like to do more of those as well. It's a lot of fun, and there was a lot of great questions that came out of it. And those are all available, as Tom and Heidi can mention, on the YouTube channel for the APS. A couple of other interesting things that we have for people out there that are just free. We have a lot of online exhibits just on the website. We also have these in APL Digital. Marion Mills, our technical services coordinator, is doing a lot of work while she's at home, sort of uploading exhibits. So that's really a part of the collection or the database that's really growing currently. We're also working on other things as well. But part of our site that doesn't get mentioned a lot are the articles of distinction. And these are really articles that our affiliate members and our affiliate clubs have sort of put together, and that they've sort of chosen an article that best sort of exemplifies their club and sort of said this is a great article. And there's a list of them on the website, and they're free to download, to print, to view. There's over 75 of them on the site, and that's the link for that bit of information too. And then again, membership is always a thing we should be thinking about. And if you'd like to join the APS, that would be great as well. Let me see if I can get out of here. Just want to show you the Adopt a Book site. So here's the site. And this is the first page of the site. And if you come, you can always just donate right here and just click on that button, and it's going to take you to the donation page. Here's a little description of what we're doing. And then here are the sort of specific areas where you can choose a particular type of book that you'd like to have in lieu of your donation. And so we've broken it down to books that are in the general collection. So those are the ones you see on the first floor that sort of anybody can browse through. We have a closed stacks area that is off the main library. There are books in there that are more sort of limited edition and special edition resources. And then we have a resource collections level that sort of deals more with, say, our Stanley Gibbons catalogs or our Scott catalogs or some of the larger resources that we have in the library. And then finally, we have an archives and rare books donation that people can offer. If I go back up to the top, you can just click on Donate Now. And hopefully the internet will let me, okay, here we go. And it just takes you to the donation page where you can select your level of donating. And this is where you put in your information. And what we'd really like people to do when they're here is in the comments box down here at the bottom, is just put in their comments about the book they selected and what the book means to them and why they chose that as the book for this donation. And that's all I have right now. I'll stop staring. I'm checking my screen. and I will take questions at the end if anybody has any questions.
Thank you so much, Scott Tiffany. That's great information. The Adopt a Book program is such a creative idea, and then to see the various books that we could adopt, that's fascinating. And then anybody who's been with us on these stamp chats, we're all getting very keen on the idea of digitization. So to have that digital library is really quite a resource. And so thank you for sharing that. And we will definitely continue to have you and Marion Mills on another stamp chat. You guys are very popular people, so thank you. Lastly, I'd like to introduce Tom Lobig. He's the Chief Content Officer. He's also the editor of the American Philatelist, and he is the man with the plan as far as I'm concerned. I report to this guy, and he was I can't say enough about him.
All right, that's enough. That's enough. That's enough.
I just want to say thank you.
Thanks a lot, and thanks a lot to everyone who is on here today and who's been participating in our stamp chat since we started. I won't take up a lot of your time because I'm sure you have a lot of questions about different aspects of what we're doing here. Really, the focus of our content team is to increase communication with our members, especially during this time. We want to make sure that while you're home, you're looking for things to do. You don't want to struggle with the headlines of the day, the tweets that are out there, obviously concerns about your family and your health. So what we want to do is we want to give you an opportunity to see some things that are quite different from that. So we're increasing the amount of stories that we have on stamps.org. We're posting them on our news page. We're also posting them on our homepage. We're giving the American Philatelist free access right now digitally, much like Scott said with the APRL. The idea of this is while we have some increased audience who may not already be members, to have the opportunity to see the magazine and to enjoy it, and so they can see what that's all about, and hopefully that will drive them towards taking a membership in our organization. The stamp chats, we're on one right now. They're going very well. As you're aware, we're transitioning from Zoom to GoToMeeting. That has its its little quirks here and there, but I'm sure that with your patience, we will move forward and figure that all out. YouTube, wow, it's our Stamps YouTube channel is just taking off. We just went over 1,000 subscribers to the channel. I believe when we started this push a few months ago, we were in the double digits. I know we weren't at 100 subscribers, but now we're over 1,000. So thanks to all of you who have been checking out not only the stamp chats that we've put on there, but the video content that we've put on and premiered. And then email newsletters, as you're probably aware, we have increased the amount of newsletters we do from a content and news standpoint from 1 a month to 4 a month. And I hope that you're finding those valuable, and they give you plenty of opportunity to see the different content and the programs that we're doing for you, for our members, for APS. Just to take a little humble brag and look behind the curtain a little bit. I just wanted to point out the explosive nature of the growth of our website. You can see just looking at the past 2 weeks and then looking back at an additional 2 weeks, how we have increased the number of users to our site, the unique page views, people looking at different pages has continued to grow from 1,000, from 500 to 1,000 to 1,500, and we may hit 2,000 sometime this week. So it's a great story, and we're really it really makes us happy that that all of our members and non-members who visit the site are happy with the content we provide. Just a couple of things here. YouTube, we're now doing top 10 playlists, and so Erin Siemens, who's our development assistant, she put together this week's playlist that focuses on our Exploring Stamps content, and so I hope you will check that out. Again, we'll continue all of these chats. We had a nice one on beer revenues and brews last week. We'll continue to give some interesting content there. And with that, I am now done screen sharing. So thank you very much. And I'll throw it back to Heidi.
Thank you, Tom. Yeah, our staff writers do a bang up job. If you haven't been over to stamps.org, do yourself a favor and check it out. There are news stories that are so rich and from different angles and perspectives, and really fun to hit that share button, because as we've also come to realize is this importance of getting our hobby out there, postal history, archivists, people who are in a genealogy. So there's really easy shareable content, a nice escapist form for people these days who are quarantined. So it's a nice way to change the channel. So anyway, I've been going up and seeing the chat box. We have a lot of questions. So I'm going to start from the top, and I saw some directors answering directly, which was pretty cool. Let's start with Marty Longo. I'm going to be very democratic and start from the top. So Marty Longo, I don't remember Marty. I don't know if he's one of our guys who's chronically doesn't have a mic.
Oh, I'll just.
But he's not.
Yeah, there's a question there. He says, do you have an estimated date on when circuit sales will resume, Wendy?
At this point, I would not say we have an estimated date. I mean, we will start the circuits up as soon as we're back in the building. I think at this point, maybe mid-May, but I mean, there's nothing definite right now. We're guided by Scott English and our Pennsylvania governor. So we've got staff ready to go back to work, but we will wait patiently along with our members, but we are doing it to work from home at this point as we can. They are checking circuits in. We are entering stamp store submissions. As much work as we can send home to the staff, we are, but we can't send circuits till we get back in there. So we'll get them out as soon as we can.
Great.
Glad everybody's so excited about it.
So if I can just add to that, in Pennsylvania, the governor announced yesterday that our stay-at-home order would continue until at least May the 8th, at which point he's going to have a deliberate, I hope, plan of reopening. Now, this is something that I'm going to present to the board on Thursday, but just because the order has been lifted doesn't mean that I can safely allow all of our staff back into the building. My priorities are sales and expertising, but that's going to have to be done in a way that makes sure that we have the health and safety of our employees in mind. So we're going to have to work through a plan on doing that. So over the next 2 weeks, I'm going to outline how that's going to look. Just as an FYI, my goal is to get sales up and operating as quickly as humanly possible, as well as expertising. Those are very critical services for our members, and the disruption's been significant, and we want to try to get away from that. The same is true for library, where we can do some researching off-site, but we cannot complete that without access to the resources that we have on-site.
Thank you, Scott, our executive director. Thanks for letting us know about that. We have a question. Casey Joe, how about you unmute yourself, hon?
Hello. I had a couple questions that I came up with while watching. The first one's for Ken. Tell us a little bit more about the 2020 challenge recruiting people. How do you know who has been recruited? Do they have to fill in themselves the name of the person that recruited them, or are there other ways? Is there like a link we can share that will have our information on it?
There is no link to share that you'll have your, well, if you want, we can provide you with a fillable PDF application, which would have your name in as proposer or sponsor. You would have to send that out to people, but we'll be glad to provide that to anybody who wants. I provide that to some dealers. Otherwise, if you're using hard copy applications, you can handwrite or stamp, if you have maybe a sales circuit stamp, or somehow identify those when you give them out to people. If people complete a hard copy application, they can put your name in when they submit it. When they submit an online application, they have an opportunity to indicate their sponsor as well. If you send somebody to us as a prospect, when we enter them on our database as a prospect, we would put you in. And if they subsequently, even if it's 6 months or 9 months or 2 years later, join, you would get credit even then as well. If somebody else submits the same name subsequently, we leave it at the earliest suggester. So we have had people submit, 5 people, that's an extreme case, suggest the same person. Well, the first person who suggests it's the one who's going to get the credit, unless the person who is submitting the application indicates otherwise. And if they put something on the application, that would override what we have in the database.
Thanks for that. I think that'll help people, if you're trying to get that lifetime membership, helps you know how to work toward that.
Good question. Thank you.
And then I had a question about the C3A. Some of the videos you have to pay for them. How do you determine which videos are for pay and which ones are free? And is there any chance in the future of the pay videos eventually becoming free?
That's an excellent question. I am very thoughtful about what is free and what is for the $5 fee for, say, a video or a course. And the thinking when it comes to courses is that those that I have up there were offered for a fee face-to-face. So there should also be a fee for people to attend it electronically. The videos, because of the time involved in preparing them, right now I do not have thoughts on making them free. Usually the ones that are free are less involved and in shorter duration. But if you have an idea, I'm certainly up for it.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I know video editing is very difficult and very, very time consuming. So I just was curious about how you figured that, and thanks for answering my question. And then I had a question that Tiffany has already answered for me about the Adopt a Book program. But just in case anyone else is curious, I wanted to know for the rare books, if you went that donation level, I assumed that you wouldn't be putting a book plate into a rare book. And so I asked what happens instead in those cases.
Yeah, so it's a great question. So for something that's a rare book or a one-of-a-kind book that we have in our rare books collection, we'll be looking at something more on archival paper that looks like a bookmark, or even just sort of a sign of some sort. But I would think sometime we looked at sort of options for like an archival quality bookmark that would go in the book or with the book in some way.
All right, thank you all for answering my questions.
That was an excellent question, and I thank you, Casey Jo, for telling us what it was, particularly with the old books, the archives. That was excellent. And in terms of membership, another great question, because you are one of the royalty of Twitter out there, and certainly you could be rocking this 25 under 30. That's for certain. Does anyone else have anything that they want to get off their chest, or use this 5 minutes more casually to talk about your pet program or your service? Oh, I see Mr. Streepy. Go for it.
Hi there. I got a question for you. Comment first, I guess. Very impressed about how you've pivoted and took on the internet role here, and it has encouraged. We've got an affiliate club group, and so we pulled out and got a Twitter account going. I previously had talked to Scott about getting our newsletter in the digital library, so we're working on that. So I guess kind of next steps, future, what do you see about helping maybe some of the affiliates kind of get into your internet presence and kind of marketing together on some of those things?
I could take some of that. Kurt, thanks for asking the question. I think, what we would like to know is more of those stories. Like you said, your club is doing different things digitally, that we could, promote, much like we would promote a stamp show or things like that are coming up. We could also be available to join in on your club if you need somebody from APS to be a guest or something like that. This is really a great opportunity right now through all the sadness and that is happening. It's a great opportunity for us as APS members to think about those different ways that we can communicate the versus the traditional, the tried and true things that we've done over the years. And we're also an open book. I mean, if you have an idea or suggestion, please pass it along. We'll be happy to talk it over with you and help in whatever way we can to make those things.
Oh, did mail come?
Can I jump in and add something to that?
Sure.
I want to thank the staff and I want to thank the members who are really supportive about about the changes that we've made and the direction that we've taken for moving things in a digital direction. I'm getting a lot of background noise, Heidi. Anyway, but I want to touch on this for a second. We really came out of the gate on this pretty fast, and we put Zoom out there, and now we're moving over to GoToMeeting. But here's the challenge. One of the oddities of this hobby is that sometimes when we see something happening and we see a pioneering move, rather than everybody sort of congregating together in one space and doing it, everybody decides it's time for them to do their own thing that looks kind of like it. And dilution of our capabilities and our talent in the hobby are one of the single biggest threats that we have. And I don't want to call it a frustration, but it's an observation on my part. And then that's going to come with an encouragement. I think it's wonderful that there are other groups out there who are promoting stamp chats just like we are now and are getting people to come together. But again, it's dilution of talent. And, we have provided the platform. We've invested heavily in the platform. And for the staff that are going to be on screen, they're going to start shaking their heads here in a minute, because I am a bend but don't break kind of guy, which means that I push them constantly to move in this direction. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I really do believe it's good for the hobby. And I think everybody on this chat is an example of that. But so if you've got an affiliate, if you've got a chapter and you want to do meetings, invite me. I last Monday night, I got to, at 10 o'clock at night, joined the Golden Gate Stamp Club, which I've been a member of for 3 years and have never attended a meeting until then. And I am happy to join a stamp club meeting anywhere out there. I can't guarantee that I can show up every day. You all still want me to work, but I'm more than happy to do it. But if you've got a subject to talk about, if you want to share something, you need to get to the bigger platform. Part of it is, don't just let me know that you've got a chat going on. Offer to us the opportunity to bring all APS members into what you're doing. We've done this in the journal, and if you see it, the Classic Society seems to enjoy it so much that they've continued doing it. So good content raises your profile to our membership. It's a good recruiting tool when you use our platform to get to our members and the fellow members that we have out there. And I think folks sort of miss out on that. It's hey, by the way, we're doing a talk next week and love to have you guys promote it. Okay, great. I've got a platform going 24/7. I'd really like to have you on it. So I'm not trying to shame people or guilt people, but you know, we're gonna lift up together, and I see it every time. The minute an innovation comes, everybody starts splitting off and going, okay, we've got to do that too, but we're going to do it our unique, special way. So there's my rant for a minute, and I apologize for doing it, but I really would encourage and invite anybody here who's got an affiliate group or a chapter who's got a very knowledgeable collector, get in touch with Tom Lobig, really to increase the visibility of your group. Take advantage of the 28,000 members that belong to the APS. Don't just ask us to do you a favor. Please help us help you promote the club in the right way.
I am nodding emphatically. Thank you so much, Scott. It's una voce, and you can see the
Unmuted.
You can see some splintering, and really now is the time to be unifying and working together, and not reinventing the wheel. This is a great platform, and it's great for everyone's profile. Consistently on these stamp chats, I'm seeing people from the various social media platforms. We're all here together, so let's tag each other, handle each other, be together, use the chat box, and as Scott said, rise together as one. Thank you so much for joining us on Stamp Chat. I hope that you had your questions and your curiosity satiated for the time being. I know it won't be long because you're all philatelists. And guess what? In just 3 short hours, you'll be able to bring your brain game one more time. We'll have Mr. Howard Ingram of ESPR. He's the director of ESPR. He'll be speaking tonight about African Canadians on stamps. And all one has to do is think a few months ago to the new stamps that came out of Canada with the African Canadian hockey team. So join that chat. That'll be 7 p.m. You found how to get over here on the GoToMeeting. Same thing is going to happen with us tonight at 7. Be sure to tell your friends, spread the news, and let's continue to work together. Thank you all of our directors for joining us, and more importantly, thank you to the APS members for your commitment to the hobby, to our organization, and 134 years of his and her story in the hobby. Thank you so much. We'll see you tonight or tomorrow for Stamps in the University Classroom with Dr. David Stillmeyer. So join us tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Thank you.